Welcome to That's My Biz, the Internet Business Showcase, where we bring exposure to products, services, and special causes of local businesses and organizations. Thank you so much for joining us. We are coming to you live from the BizLinks TV studio. Brought to you by Southeast Computers, repairs, upgrades, custom builds, and restorations. SoutheastComputersATL.com. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of That's My Biz. I'm Pamela Alexander, your host, and as always, we enjoy bringing to you the wonderful businesses, nonprofits, and associations that we meet when we're out there networking. And we want to remind you that you can always catch these episodes on our website at www.bizlinks.tv. You can also check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/bizlinkstv, and then, of course, our YouTube channel at youtube.com/bizlinkstv. Now, don't forget to make sure that you subscribe, that you like the page, but also, what's most important is please give us some thumbs up and make sure that you give some comments for the guests as well, and be sure to share it with your network. Now, I am going through this beginning part because I'm excited about today's guest. We have been longtime friends, longtime business connectors, and this is a great organization. I want to make sure that I tell you right now to get out your paper and your pens because you're going to have a lot of notes that you're going to want to take with this episode. We have Miss Tammie Bailey-Fults. Welcome, Tammie.
Thank you so much, Pamela. I'm excited about being here today.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely,
this is awesome.
Absolutely. Now, Tammie is the founder of the National Association of Women-Owned Small Businesses, and it is an organization that you all want to know about. They educate women businesses about procurement opportunities, but they don't just educate them, they help them network with each other, and Tammie actually works with you closely as a consultant to help you win the contracts that you need to grow your business. So with that, the first thing I want to ask you about, Tammie, is why do people need to get certified?
Great question. And a lot of people, I really like to start with telling people that let's talk about your business first. Oftentimes we will have people who will approach us and say that they want to be certified, or they have even obtained certifications but are not sure what to do with it. Certification, simply, it's a set-aside program set aside initially by the government, federal government. It has now grown to where corporations also certify or make the request for certifications as well and have certification programs. And it's one of those things I tell people that it's like going back to school, but you don't have to get the debt for it. You don't have to be in debt. So in getting your certification, it's kind of a way of corporations and government agencies to say you've been vetted. That your financial records, your financial house is in order, because that's really important when you talk about contracts. But also contracts, these certifications are, again, designations, set-aside programs in which there are contracts that are set aside for specific groups. So an example would be for veterans. There are two designations, two certifications for veterans: veteran-owned small businesses and service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses. That's one. There are others. There are certifications for minorities. There are certifications for women. There are various certifications, and what that simply means is that there's a pot, not a pot of gold, but there's a pot of contracts that have been set aside specifically for those groups. And so it's a part of the bigger pie. It's a slice of the pie. And having that certification, and that simply means that you have been vetted, that you've gone through the process, that you have presented your documents, your financials, your history, your performance history, to show that you have actually done the work and that you are who you say you are.
Okay. Now, we have a lot of our viewers that are out there that are probably thinking one thing that I used to think too was, because you hear a lot about doing business with the government, but for certifications, is it only the government that people have these opportunities for?
No, actually, it's for both. It's for government agencies. It's for corporations. You will see your Coca-Colas, your AT&T, Home Depot, others, large corporations, and even some smaller ones. However, we really want people to realize that you have to find what your niche is. You have to determine, in your industry, say, for instance, if you're in janitorial services, well, when you think about janitorial, that can be done government agencies or corporate entities. But you may think about in your case, in media. You know, who has the need for communications, for marketing, for training, development? And is that something more that the government needs, or is it corporate, or is it both? And so you have to figure that out. And then there's another component. There are other components to get contracts and certifications, and that's through educational institutes. You know, people tend to not even think about educational institutes, but that's an area that we tap into as well, because your private universities, I think you all may have attended when we did How to Do Business with Spelman and things of that nature. When you have those types of institutions, a lot of times they may be doing business with just others within their own, you know, within their alumni association, or people who kind of come to them by word of mouth. Well, you know, a lot of them now have processes because they too are receiving federal dollars. And they need to abide by the rules of the federal government. And so, and getting your certifications and going after some of those opportunities are really, you know, those are some hidden gems. And so we like to make small businesses aware of those as well.
Okay, so you all have it now, so it's not just about doing business with the government. So get off the focus of how much the government spends on a screw and look at all the opportunities that are out there. Now, let me ask you as well, because a lot of people also are startups or thinking about starting their business, is getting certification and the opportunity to get these types of set-asides only for people that have been in business, you know, 5-10 years, that have this big net income that's coming in?
Typically, government wants you to have been in business about 2 years.
Okay.
2 years is usually good if you're But I tell people who are just starting their businesses, go ahead and start the right way. You know, start getting your file the taxes, get your tax information together. Of course, having the bank account, keeping your funds separate, all of those things to prepare you for it. And so a lot of times people are thinking, oh my God, they're getting into all my personal stuff. They're asking about my mortgage, and I'm divorced, and all those things. The government and corporate, and they're not concerned about those things. What they're really trying to see is, one, that you are seriously disadvantaged, because there are others who will try to take advantage of a designation that they are not allowed to take advantage of. So one, they want to see, are you really in need? And so to show the poorer side of your business is not a bad thing. Have full disclosure, and it's not about them getting into your business at all. You're just on paper to them. They don't, when you walk in, they're like, oh, that's the person who filed for bankruptcy. It's none of that. They really are not concerned with that. They're just wanting to know what may be an obstacle should you be awarded that may hang you up. So an example may be if someone is paying child support, and perhaps they were behind on child support or something, and the government and corporate just want to make sure that when we're processing things for your company, that there's not going to be anything that's going to be a hiccup down the road when the payment is distributed, and so that it looks bad, and then you come back and say the government didn't pay me, they didn't pay me on time, because that's, you know, those are things that people say, but they don't tell you the full story. And a lot of times it has to do with the small business owner or whoever is processing things, because you didn't dot all your I's, cross all your T's, and divulge some things that you should have given in the beginning.
Well, this is great information already, because, you know, just in part of what you said about being the disadvantaged business, because oftentimes you do think that bottom line has a show, you know, like you do when you get a loan necessarily, that it has a show that you have all this money in the bank, when that's not what disadvantage means. So I love hearing that piece of it. Now, share a little bit about the importance of crossing all those T's, dotting all those I's, submitting your information the way that it needs to be submitted, and being accurate with that.
Yes, absolutely. So important, because you're talking about contracts. You know, you're talking about something that could be 3 months, it can be something that's 3 years, or you're talking about something that's 5 years. Typically, you know, average is that a lot of contracts go for multiple years. Beyond a year, most average about 3 to 5. You'll find a lot of 5-year contracts with, it'll say 1 base and then 4 optional, and that comes from your federal government, because they want the consistency there. It allows you to build your performance history and all of those things that go along. So it's so much easier to do business with an entity, a small business that has been there for a period of time, rather than keep switching it out from year to year. They're looking for stability and things of that nature. So paying attention to detail is very important. That's where coming with the dotting your I's and crossing your T's. And so if you're not doing that at the beginning before, and that's why when putting the whole contract together, people are like, oh my God,
Right.
this is so much paperwork and it's just too much. And,
Right.
all those things. And it is, it really is. But it's, if you can follow the directions for this,
Right.
then you certainly can follow the directions for what they're asking for.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be that smart, that savvy to pay attention to detail? If you're the construction person, the contractor for that, are you going to, a little shingle, are you going to overlook that, or are you going to pay attention to detail? Or you're the painter that you see a crack in the wall and you bypass that, or are you going to pay attention to
Okay.
it? If
Right.
you're the janitorial person and you see that the roll of tissue is running a little bit low, are you the one who's going to go ahead and put that other roll
Yeah.
right behind that? When you're ever in the stall and you see that
Yeah.
other second
Yeah.
roll, you're like,
That's right.
oh, thank God.
Yeah.
It's little things like that that really matter.
Right.
So that's what,
love
it's
that.
paying attention to the detail.
Yeah.
And that you have to do the paperwork. Nothing, like you said, the good things in life you got to work hard for. You got to do it for quite some time before you really see the fruits of your labors. But that's what it calls for.
Okay. So now what about, because when we talk about, the prime contractor and then the subcontractor, so for those, because oftentimes the project is too big for a small business
Yes,
to take
yes.
on, but then they have the
Excuse me.
opportunity to come in as a subcontractor. Now, for those subcontractors, do they also have to go through the certification process and be certified?
Not necessarily so. I encourage people to, if you're in business, you're either really in it or you're not.
Okay.
So even as a sub, because you don't know where the opportunity is going to come from, and so even if you're there are a lot of people who've done extremely well in procurement and contracting as subcontractors. But there certainly are benefits to you having your own certifications, because you never know when you're the one who's put in that position where you really need to step up. And so you just want to be prepared. You don't want to have to rush to get there should the opportunity present itself. But I certainly tell subcontractors, you don't go in. Nobody goes into the race in the Olympics or anything in life saying, I want to be second best.
Right.
I mean, if you happen to get the silver,
Right.
you're like, oh man, I got the silver. Okay, hooray for that. Good. But you don't really go in life trying to get the silver. You go for the gold.
Yeah.
So go for the gold. Go all the way and go ahead and get your paperwork in there, because you never know when that opportunity is going to present itself.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Like I said, I hope you all are taking these copious notes out there. Now, so first part is getting certified, and you mentioned many of the different types of certifications that are out there, and then you kind of get into the going and starting to apply for many of the contracts out there and trying to win those particular bids. Now, through all of this, the biggest challenge is really understanding it, really getting through all of that red tape, and that is really where Tammie comes in and where the National Association of Women-Owned Small Businesses comes in. So I want to talk about the organization that you started, NAWSB, and just share with them the value of what your organization brings to them in helping them get through all of this.
Yeah, we really wanted to, the organization came by really as a godsend. This is our 6th year. And I, at the time, had a previous organization of women business owners, helping women and just in general with business. And so one of the things I prayed to God was that, especially in the Atlanta market, there's just no shortage of opportunities and resources and a number of things. And so my prayer was just to provide something that was different and more of value. So that at the end of the day, if someone says, well, I'm a member of something, and people say, well, what did you get out of it? Then you can say, I've learned about where to go for contracts. I know about certifications. Or if you didn't do any of that, you can say, but I know who to go to. I know where to go. And so we're at that place that we are one of the few organizations, and maybe one of the few in the entire country, that focuses on bringing not only women-owned but just small businesses in general, to help them through the maze and help them to understand the language and to calm all fears about contracting, and to say that yes, it is tough, yes, it's a lot, but we're here to do some hand holding and talk you through it, and to say yes, you can do this even when you think that you can't.
Right.
And so contracting is just a small part of it. It's a $1 trillion business. Seriously, it's $1 trillion. You're talking government. You're talking, when you think about all the military bases, the Army bases, the Air Force, when you talk about all, in Georgia, we are just so prime and positioned where we are strategically. and when you look about the military bases that are right within our backyard and the opportunities. And so that government is just one aspect. But we are blessed again in Metro Atlanta with all of the headquarters of these corporate entities right here in our backyard, going up 400, going up 75. So we are just really fortunate. But not just here. We have 159 counties in Georgia. So, where one county may not work for you, it may be about the county where you grew up.
Okay.
That's why I tell people, get into your business is my business. I love to hear the backgrounds of people, and, I have that gift of kind of remembering what people say and their spouses and all of that. But it's really to see where there are some other opportunities. And so that's what we do. And so we're an organization to connect people and to help educate them, help build them up, build up their businesses, but build up their confidence more than anything, to help them get certified and to give them whatever support that's needed, pointing them and connecting them to the right people.
That's fantastic. And I'm going to tell you all, Tammie does get into your business in the most positive ways. She will learn your business, like you said, but it's not just business, it's personal as well. But the value of that really is because your members' businesses, when she sees these opportunities come up, she is on the phone to you. And even in just helping you get the certification, now, like she said, it's a maze. It can be complex, and she will hold your hand, but now she's going to give you some tough love, too, to make sure that you do it and that you do it right. And that's what we really love about the organization. So now with the organization, tell us how many members you have and who are some of the members, because we kind of know like you mentioned, the contracting and the janitorial, but who are some of the other types of members?
Absolutely. Well, that is like my babies. Those are all my babies. So more than 250 businesses.
Okay.
And growing. And I kind of always, I've been saying that number for a while because, with any organization, you have your ebbs and flows and things of that nature. But when it comes to a contract and I see it, member or no member, I'm sending it to you saying, look, you need to look at this. So I had an example of that just this week where a former member, and when I saw the contract, to me, it just spoke of her business. And she has a training and development company. She's a great speaker. And she travels all over. And this opportunity was for the federal government, but it actually was in Mexico City, outside of the country. And so I was thinking, who could do this? And immediately this person, now there are other members who have training and development as their background and they're consultants and they do speaking engagements. But this one young lady in the company just resonated so clearly that was the opportunity for her. And when I sent it to her, she sent the email right back and she's like, yes, this is me. So we started going through that and looking at it, and it started asking about having 10 trainers, and they need to be bilingual, and they need to have a background in law enforcement. And everything I asked her, she said, oh yeah, I have somebody for that. And it was just like heaven.
Perfect.
So yeah, it's great. But that's one example of one of our members. But we have so many diverse members, and from all over, not just Metro Atlanta, down the coast where you're from, and outside of the state, and in Charleston, South Carolina, and in Florida and Louisiana. So we have members all over, but we have chapters primarily where we have the majority of our membership. So we have a great member, Gail, Gail with Custom Plastics and More, a woman-owned manufacturing company that's just, located I-20 West. Of course, we have some traditional businesses, but we also have one of our members, Cynthia McGarity. Cynthia has a CC Tire. It's a tire disposal company. And so in looking at women who are in non-traditional fields, and saying, how did you even get involved in something like tire disposals, And I asked her that just the other day. We were down at the Capitol, and she said, well, this person approached, she and her husband, and said, you all need to look at this. And she said, well, I don't know. And she said that their first job was like removing 10,000 tires. Can you imagine?
Really?
Can you imagine? That's your first job, your first contract is your business. And she said it was horrible, really, to be quite honest about it, because of the vermins and what's all involved in removing tires. And she said, but something about that, it made her say, you know what? If I can do this one, I can do others.
Yeah.
And she said, then really seeing that money behind it too, that helped.
Right.
So, there are a number. We have women in demolition companies and construction companies, which is a growing field, and you can see all the construction opportunities that are coming about. We have court reporters. We have those that are in the automotive industry. I'm naming some that are not the traditional things, but there's nothing wrong with tradition, and tradition is what, is the background of the nation. So keep doing what you're doing. If you're in janitorial, there's nothing to be shameful in there, and there's no shortage of opportunities. For people like us who are busy, we don't have time to clean houses, let alone buildings.
Right.
So, keep doing that. Accounting services, there are other opportunities that people typically think, oh, there's no contracts for that. There are contracts for pies.
Okay.
If there's anyone out there who is in anything related to food, in restaurant business, anything where, even if you're doing small scale catering, there are so many opportunities, and it's called subsistence in government. It's called food subsistence contracts.
Okay.
And a lot of times they're looking for, what the government does is that on a quarterly basis, they will fulfill their food subsistence for the prison systems. And even some of the schools will do that, the university, but primarily your federal government will do that for the prisons. And so they put out these quarterly food subsistence contracts, and they will ask for, I love how they're doing it now, because before, they kind of would group it all together, meaning that it's a whole food order, and it'll basically say we need sugar, we need butter, we need eggs, we need meat, we need all of it in one. But now they're given ample opportunity, so it allows for across the board. So say if you're in the restaurant business or the catering business, and you provide your sugar wholesale, you get it wholesale, then you could fulfill that sugar contract, and now it's a lot of sugar, it definitely is. It's not no little small teaspoon going to a neighbor saying, can I borrow? No, no. Yeah. You need to have your stuff in order. But it's a lot. But certainly if you have, that contact with wholesalers in any food category, from flour to sugar to condiments to meat, any of that. So if you're in a restaurant business, small scale restaurant, and you have those kind, that's a great contract opportunity. But we have, our members are, oh God, I mean, it's just amazing, all of the things that they're involved in. And I just I encourage people that don't discount anything and think it's too small. Because our members, it's just amazing to me.
Yeah, and I love, because we've been to several of the meetings and met the variety of businesses out there. Like I said, things that you go, oh yeah, I guess they do need to have someone that does that. That is a business.
Yes.
So like I said, any ideas that you come up with, there's an opportunity to create a business off of it and to monetize that idea.
Absolutely.
Now, and I know, so the meetings that you have, so you mentioned we have all these different chapters that are around Georgia as well as outside of Georgia now. So what's the value of someone being a member of the chapter? What do they get out of being a member of the chapter?
Sure, absolutely. Well, a couple of things is that you get to network, of course, and you get to meet the chapter president. We have about 15 chapter presidents now. Our newest chapter president is Chandron Pemberton.
Yes.
Chandron, while she and her family live in Douglasville, but she's originally from Columbus, Georgia, and we will be headed to Columbus at the end of this month for our event. And so you get to meet great people like Chandron, who her company, PO Solutions, in which she manages homeowners associations, and she manages more than 4,000 properties. Can you imagine? I mean, growing business and doing extremely well. So you get to meet great people like that, the chapter presidents. They pull you into their circle, into their networking, because we can't do it all.
Right.
So it's to position you so that you can connect with others in your communities. It's for you to do business, to do some teaming, some joint venture, to expose your business, and that's what we really want to do. So it's not just about the chapter. What I tell people, don't get hung up and get comfortable on just, networking right here in your neighborhood. Yes, that's good, it's convenient, but we do the road show.
Right. I love
we
that.
make sure we do a road show. We get you on the road. And so we head to Augusta, we head to Charleston, we head to various areas, because there's so much opportunities, and we want, it's so much easier to go with an organization, with a group, than to go by yourself.
Right.
You wouldn't pick up necessarily and say, oh, I'm going to Augusta and I'm going to do business and explore.
Right.
Most small business people wouldn't even really know what to do or how to do it. So it's so much easier to go with a group of women who are just laughing laughing all the way, and
Right.
of course we get a little shopping done too. But you get to have some fun, and then you get to learn something different, and you get to network. So Shalita Johnson, who is our chapter president in Augusta. And she is doing an awesome job down there, and also co-president Valerie Smith with her. They have built a phenomenal chapter, more than 25, 30 members in the Augusta area. When I tell you those women in Augusta are powerful, many of them, I would say about 85% of the members there all have a brick and mortar, various businesses. Shalita herself is in a transportation business. She has a fleet of coach buses as well as limousines, and travels all over. And so going to Augusta, you get a different feel of how to do business. And that's really part of the reason for introducing our members to other areas, so that you get a feel for how they do business in Augusta, which is totally different than Atlanta. And I get the privilege of just sitting back, being Mama Bear, and watching it and seeing how people are conducting business in Augusta. And I see that those women there, when people in Augusta start businesses, they go full out, full throttle, and they go in and purchase buildings, and from the just a startup, they will purchase a building, get their lease space right away. In Atlanta, not as much, because, and I understand, because economically, it's not always feasible for us to do that. We have a lot of home-based businesses, even if people are in a position, but we tend to do a lot more home-based business first. And economically, it makes sense. But when you're in areas where economically it makes sense to go into that brick and mortar, then that's what they do.
Wow. Now let's talk about the economics for a minute, because you're right, because in Atlanta we have kind of a whole different mentality, and a lot of people they don't necessarily want to put the investment that they need to or should in themselves and into their business, so they try to come up with all the ways to cut corners and not do things, even like you said, getting out of their own little area and going, if you're by the airport, go to Marietta and go to a meeting. Don't just wait for it to come to you. So in talking about that and the economics, first of all, what's the investment when it comes to, one, getting your certifications, and then for NAWOSB, what's the investment as a member?
Sure, absolutely. Well, membership is only $160 for a full year for 12 months.
Wow. Okay, wait a minute. $160 for a full year, and for what you get out of it, oh my goodness, that is amazing. So keep going.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we want to keep it affordable, and we have members that are at different levels in their businesses. We have from startups, and we have multi-million-dollar companies that are part of it. So $160 is for the year. Now, we do have a few members that are very much in a position of where they can pay more, and so we do have just a few, and those are known as our corporate members and all, because they have multiple locations and employees. But for the most part, everyone pretty much is $160 for the full year. And what you get for that, of course, is that you get not only the networking, but you get more than anything, it's about the education. We want you to know, that if you don't know, you can come to us and say, I need you to check something out. An example is, I had a member who was approached by a company, and the company wanted to do business with her company, and it was a new venture for her and something she really wasn't familiar with and wasn't sure. And she was talking to me, she said, well, what do you think? And so I gave her my opinion on it, and she said, well, if you don't mind, can I have you, can we set up a meeting, even if it's by phone? I want you to listen in on the conversation. I want you to ask some questions, and can you help me with this? Because she said, I really don't know if this is something I want to do, but I feel comfortable with you, and you know me, and you know my company. And so those are the little things that we do to say, reach out. I even have members within the organization, and I'll give an example of Bob Wayner. And you all know Bob. Bob is with Legal Shield. And we had a member who we've had this not on one occasion, multiple occasions, members who have even reached out to him. And we do allow men to come into our organization. We do have men who are members as well. But the member reached out to Bob, and I didn't know about this until after, and it's fine with me. But they asked him, when you're in and working with procurement, sometimes depending upon the industry, you will have what's known as pre-bid conferences. excuse me, where you will go to, it may say optional, mandatory, but you will go, particularly in construction and building and facilities maintenance, you have to go into pre-bid meetings where they want to answer questions.
Okay.
It gives you an opportunity to kind of even see who's bidding these opportunities against you and things of that nature. So this one construction job was like North Georgia. And one of our members, wanted to go, and she said to Bob at a meeting, she had pulled him to the side. She said, "If you don't mind, I have to go to this pre-bid meeting. It's my first one. Can you take the ride with me, because I'm just not comfortable going in this area of Georgia that I've never been in before, and I just don't know how they're going to react to me or how I'm going to feel." And Bob was like, "Sure." Bob is road warrior.
Yes.
We have many road warriors in our organization, but he was willing to do that.
Wow.
He was willing to do that, and that comes from getting to know other members in the organization. He's done it on multiple occasions. I've done it. I've sat in on meetings.
Awesome.
We've made phone calls on people's behalf. We've written letters. I have a request right now that's waiting for me, a young lady who is not a member yet, and she said, "I need you to, can you write this letter for me on behalf of my company to kind of position us to talk about," she said, "I just don't know what should be included," and it's not a loan or anything. She's just trying to position her company for a certification and some other things. So those are just some of the things that we do, and it's not all documented.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't tell you all the things we do, because it's really customized for you, depending upon what your needs are, but what we like to do is just really want people to feel comfortable enough. We're not a chamber. It's not a numbers thing for us. It's none of those things. It's just simply connecting with you, meeting you where you are in your business, talking the truth. You're going through a divorce, you're going through child custody issues, you're filing bankruptcy, any of those things. Okay, so you got that out the system now. Let's get back on to the business. Let's talk about some things and move you forward.
I love that. And, like I said, even just the motivation that you get from the meetings and being around other business owners, women and men, around other business owners that are doing it, that, have either been where you are now or, where you're trying to go. You have all these variety of people to tap into, to talk to about your business, and not just about procurement, but just about business and business growth.
Absolutely.
And all of that is just a wonderful organization that you all need to check out. And I know we have tons and tons of information, and Tammie is just a wealth of knowledge. So I'm going to tell you all that you all need to reach out to NAWOSB and make sure that you start attending those meetings so that you can get moving on the right track. And Tammie, first I'm going to ask you to give everyone your contact information so that they know how to get in touch with you. And then I want to talk about your upcoming event.
Absolutely. So getting in contact with us, you want to, again, it's a mouthful. Yes, it is. National Association of Women-Owned Small Businesses, plural. And we can be reached at 404-710-5423. Again, that's 404-710-5423. Or you can go to our website, and it's www.nawo S as in Sam, B as in boy.org. And that's one of our websites. And then, of course, we have our event website, which is for the pinkprocurementexpo.com. And Nash and Pam were a part of that right at the beginning. Phenomenal vision from God. Truly can't say enough about that. But with that event, it was just to kind of get a different take on again, in Atlanta, there's so many supplier diversity and type of events and expos. And so we wanted to put a little twist on it and invite and showcase our members, those that are certified, those that are certifications pending, and put them out there, because when you're at those events, everyone's passing out business cards, and there's so many. You go to one event, you come back with a pocket full of business cards, and then you just want to throw them up in the air and say, okay, now what? What do I do with it? So we wanted it to be more of a visual. And to say, okay, you have these business cards, but how can I really remember this person? If you get in a room full of people, you may remember 2, maybe 3, people at best,
Right.
really remembering. But when in doing the pink procurement event, we really want people to connect, and then we create this visual. So by having the visual, meaning we have some members who put their exhibit tables out there, but they have paperwork and things that they can give to procurement officers and others who just want to do business with them. You know, if there's a veteran and a woman-owned company and they want to connect, you know, now they can remember that, oh, that was the lady that had that big pink shoe on her table. You know, we had a person at our event that had that. But, you know, so things that help you to remember and to not just be another business card, because at the end of the day, you know, you're more than your card anyway. And then people forget, where did I put the card? You know, so we want to connect you in a different way. We want to expose you. So we have our Pink Procurement Expo. This is our 4th one. We can hardly believe it. We have gone from initially just having 1 to having 2 a year. And there's something that's been buzzing in my ear to say maybe I have to do a little bit more than just 2 a year. We'll see. But we have been doing this now for a few years. And so we do one in the spring and one in the fall. And the one in the spring is when we travel. And so this year we're traveling to Columbus, Georgia, as you heard us mention earlier. And so we're going that's southwest of Atlanta. And who knew? Only an hour and a half away. For some reason, in my mind, I thought it was much farther away, but it really isn't. But it is home to the largest Army base in the entire world, Fort Benning. In the entire world. It actually has Fort Benning has its own zip code. It has more than 120,000, 150,000 military people and families. So can you imagine? That's the size of some smaller cities in Georgia or anywhere. So just going there, and it is the home of the headquarters for AFLAC. There's Columbus State University. It's right off the river. It's a wonderful place, and it's just a gem, and it is the 2nd largest city in the state of Georgia. You know, so we are excited about having that event there. It's from March 31st. 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. and we will be there in Columbus. We're going to give Columbus a run for their money. We're excited about that. We do have Fort Benning that's coming out to speak as well. Now, last year we did in October, we did something we had not done before, and everyone loved it. And so we're going to do a little part of that again this year, but you have to come out to see it. It's our roundtable discussions, and those went off wonderfully last year. It's more intimate. It allows for people to sit there and to talk, and even the contracting officers really appreciated that more than just standing up giving a speech or presentation to engage, because they're getting different questions and they're getting a feel too of what people really are asking, what they need to know on how to do business with them. So more of that. So again, March 31st, last Thursday of the month, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can find all of that information on our website, pinkprocurementexpo.com. Again, pink, I know you can spell pink, but procurement may be a challenge, but it's procurementexpo.com.
Fantastic. We'll definitely put it on the screen for everyone as well. And in case you all don't get it, I want to make sure that you're clear on this, because this is an opportunity not only to network with the wonderful women, it's an opportunity for the road trip to Columbus, learn more about that area, meet the chapter president there as well, and start building that network beyond just your own network. But the big thing, did you hear it? An opportunity to get in front of some procurement officers to hear from their side. They may not be the ones that are going to be the ones over the particular contracts you're going after, but just to get some insight from them and really understand what it is that they look for.
Absolutely.
And to have those contacts and those connections, because now they give you their card and you get to find out who they are, so you get to build a relationship, you know, and then get your name out there with them. So if your bid does cross their desk, it's already familiar to them.
Absolutely.
So this is phenomenal to be a part of Pink Procurement. Keep an eye out for, of course, this month's event, October. I'm already in October. For this month's event, make sure that you make it. But also, you know, keep an eye out for the next one and for all the wonderful meetings that go on with NAWOSB. Now, let me ask you, the meetings, are they just for the members, or are other people able to come?
Everything is open. We really don't want to restrict anyone from attending any of our events. And we even encourage young people. When we had our day at the Capitol last week, we had a lot of school kids. We had college students who were on spring break that attended the event with us. We really just want to, especially for our young people, we want them to see what business really looks like today. and that you can have a role model, that you can connect with others. So we want men to come out. We want young people to come out. You do not have to be a member to attend any of our events. Just come and celebrate with us, connect with us, and just be with some great people who are doing some positive things, not only in the state of Georgia, but throughout the country.
We love that, Tammie. You know, I'd love to just hold you here. We're going to bring it back from some other episodes, but we want to just get all this great information out to you. But a fantastic way to do it is to make sure that you reach out to the organization and that you attend their meetings that are coming up. So one more time, Tammie, before we leave, again, tell them how they can get in touch and how they can connect.
Absolutely, absolutely. Please connect with us. You can call us 404-710-5423. And of course, you can text us as well. Emailing us, you can email me, Tammie, Tammie, at nawosb.org. Or you can just go out to our website, nawosb.org, and send us an email from there. And of course, you can also subscribe so that you can be on the contact list there. pinkprocurementexpo.com is another website you can go to, and you can get updates on our events, where we are, if we're coming to a city near you. But if you go to our main website, you'll have everything. Just one other thing really quick. We have one of our federal procurement federal contracting officers who's retired now, but she will be at this event. She was at our event in last October. Denora Gonzalez is her name, and she has seen her share of federal contracts, so she's a really good person to connect with. The other part with that event is that these people are with us pretty much for the entire day, you know, and of course, you know, it doesn't hurt to have lunch included in there, so that makes it real easy. I always promise them, I'm a feed you, now, you know, I'm a feed you. So, but you know, you're with them for the whole day, so you're eating lunch with them, you're talking, so it's not a quick run in, run out, but definitely. So give us a call, email us, text us, whatever works best for you, but definitely connect with us.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us today, Tammie.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We appreciate it. And one bonus to it as well, that BizLinks TV Network is going to be on location at the Pink Procurement Conference. So we're excited because we want to highlight you. So come out, get that opportunity to get your business out there to the world. So we want to make sure that you really go to the website, pinkprocurementexpo.com, and get more information. We'd love to see you in Columbus and then continue seeing you through all the other meetings that are offered through NAWOSB. We want to remind all of you all that you can watch this episode again at www.bizlinks.tv. You can also check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/BizLinksTV, and our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BizLinksTV. Like I said at the beginning, please don't just watch the episode and keep all the information yourself. Please make sure that you like it, that you share this with others. You know a lot of business owners out there that could take advantage of this organization and that can bring some value as well to this organization. So make sure that you share it with others as well. And then give us some comments, because we want to make sure that we're bringing you the episodes and we're bringing you the business organizations that you are truly learning from. And I know you learned a lot today. I am Pamela Alexander with BizLinks TV Network. We're exposing your business to the world.
10 years to learn the business. 10 years to make a name. 1 year on your own. It takes time to build a small business, but only 60 days to transform it with email marketing from Constant Contact. Sign up with Constant Contact and get 60 days of free email marketing to generate referrals, connect with clients, and build the business you've always wanted. Constant Contact. Start your 60-day free trial today.
Thank you for joining us. Today's show can be viewed on demand on our website at www.bizlinks.tv. If you are interested in having your products, services, or special cause showcased on our program, submit an inquiry to That's My Biz at bizlinks.tv. In addition, information on advertising and hosting your own show can be found on our website at bizlinks.tv.